Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy King J, and today we have a special Teach Me episode with the legend, the legend in the UK for Tekken, Dinosaur. Now, we've got Bryan as the Teach Me for Dinosaur. I really wanted him to do it because he's played this character for quite a long time, and he's very, very strong with him. I haven't been able to beat him in tournaments yet. Keyword yet. But don't worry. Ganryu's back, so I don't know, but yeah, without further ado, Dinosaur, teach me the key moves. Again, thank you very much for coming on as well. I really appreciate it. So yeah,
it's good to be here.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you, man. It's good to have you on. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go over the key moves for Bryan. Now, the thing is with Bryan, I know that he has a couple moves, but I feel like his counter hits come when, I would say, later on in the frame, so he doesn't have like quick counter hit moves. Maybe I might be wrong. Maybe you might be able to.
Yeah, no, that's true. He's a bit of a slow character.
Yeah, so I just wanted to let me just take off the rage, opponent's rage. So yeah, like just show me a couple, just tell me a couple things that you think are his key moves out in the neutral.
Okay, so basically the first thing to remember is that there's a few different ways you can play Bryan. He's a fairly simple, straightforward character, but he's got there's like a few ways you can play him. You can sort of play a very aggressive mix-up, and kind of button style. You can play quite a safe defensive style. So I'd say if you want to get started with Bryan, the first things you should sort of be looking to use. I think the first thing you should think about using is probably back one. This isn't the best, because yeah, we all know about this move. Mm-hmm. It's really, it's plus on block. It's gotten more plus on block over time in this game. It's now +4. +4. It's more plus on hit now than it used to be, meaning you can basically forward 3 people if they press any buttons on hit, and it obviously launches on counter hit. And this is, but this is just a good way to start range offense, because a lot of when you want to start playing a character, you want to have ways to start playing your game. So back one will allow you to start playing your game. It's a nice mid with advantage. And to poke, you're going to want to use down forward 2-1, 13 frames, does good damage. It's got very long range for a down forward 2, for a down forward 1 type string. And it's natural combo. You can duck the second hit, but there's also down forward 2-3 is mid, and gets a good knockdown situation. So it's not necessarily beneficial for them to duck, and you can delay the second hit as well. So basically, back one and down forward. Back one, you get uninterruptible down forward 2-1. That can just start your offense. The other thing is his 1-2 jabs. Can basically just give you a bit of mental frame advantage because you can delay the third hit for 1-2 delay 1. So if you do 1-2 and then you do that, if that last hit hits on counter hit, you get a launch from it.
Oh, whoops, okay. Let me try and check. Let me try and see if I can get from this range into combo. Yep.
So these basic tools are what you can use to build an early neutral game. Yeah. They might suffer a bit later on. That's how you can build it. And when they block, you just hit them with hatchet kick, quarter circle back 3.
Quarter circle back 3.
Does really good damage for a low. So now again they've improved the frames more. It's +5 on hit now. So again you can just do typically gonna want to do down forward 2 or down forward 1, or you're just gonna want to move around a bit. Yeah. So now you've got a low, a poke. You've got a low, some pokes, and a mid to get in with. Next would be you want to stop people from moving around when you're doing back one and you're trying to get in with this stuff. Mat kick, forward 4. Does again tons of damage. Does tons of damage. It sidesteps to the left when he does it. And so it does.
What move? Forward 4?
Yeah.
Nice. This move, yeah.
see, when he does it, he takes a little step to the left.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a homing move. It's hard to it's hard to punish. As it's only -10. But people can only get most characters can only get a crouch jab.
Yeah.
And it will evade things which people are doing. So sidestepping, they don't know how to sidestep cancel or whatever. You can just forward them out of it, and you get a free court circle back 4. And again, it's a bit easier in this season because they actually made the forward 4 leave them closer, so you don't have to do any like dash stuff a lot of the time. If it hits on counter hit, it does 1,000,000 damage. It launches. This is your basic tool for controlling like lateral movement. So if you combine those tools together, you have like a decent basic that's a sort of basic starter Bryan.
Yeah.
The other is a trick about Mat Kick, which is that the sidestep for it, like every sidestep, is better the closer you are. So a lot of the time, so you can use Mat Kick beat jabs, for example, fairly consistently, depending on whose jabs they are, but mostly fairly consistently, if you are right up in their face. So if you're right close to someone, Mat Kick is a much better defensive tool than it is further away. It will wrap all the way around their attacks. So you can use it as like you can use it a bit like Hwoarang's back 1 or something like that. Only it does shit tons more damage.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, those are like the.
Yeah, go on.
So that's basic neutral. There's some other thing, and then it starts to get a bit harder from there, basically.
Do you think Bryan kind of like struggles to keep his momentum in this game?
Does a bit, because he's got a few problems, which I think I said in the Blasted Salami guide, is that his pokes, like most of his moves recover quite slowly on whiff. His movement is pretty mediocre. Like his sidestep is one of the weaker characters. And his jabs are like very easy to crush. Like he has the most crushable jabs in the game, basically, with the exception of he's basically it's him and Marduk. If you want to go on, yeah, his left jab has a very very high hitbox. So
what about Miguel? I feel like Miguel's jab is not good as well.
Miguel's one doesn't have very good range. Bryan's one has a lot of range, but down four twos will always go under Bryan's jabs, basically.
Okay.
And other weird stuff will go under it as well. So yeah, he's gonna have a few problems like with getting rushed down, but the fact that he does loads of damage and the fact that he's like really hard to move away from is gonna like it always keeps him in the match. The other, so yeah, he's got a lot of good tools in neutral though. So yeah, that is one of them, for example. Sidestep 1. Yeah. So you can make a lot of hard reads when you're playing as Bryan for like big damage, like sidestep 1 and up 4 basically orbital. It's made like this can be like dangerous to come in on.
Okay, cool. And do you reckon there's any other moves like that are good in neutral?
+4. So at the beginning, when you start playing Bryan, you're probably going to want to use back 1 because when people are starting to play a character, they're probably going to want to play like quite flowchart. Yeah. But 3+4 basically is better than 1. The more you play, the more 3+4 is the better option because it tracks a bit better, a bit faster. And the plus frames from back 1 don't mean as much because they're reasonably easy to move away from. So, so 3+4 is probably like the last big. Well, actually no. There's one more thing which you should like to use, which is down forward 1, 1, 1, 1, 2.
And delay it, right?
But yeah, hit confirm this. You should delay it. But you can hit confirm the second hit. But it is quite hard. So if you're good enough, you can do just one hit, see if it connects, and then do the second one. But it's quite hard. And then yeah, you can finish that all the way through. And this, for what it is, it's a poke, useful up close. 15 frames is very safe. But it does a lot of damage as well. If you finish the whole string, like, so it's useful. Like, this is basically what keeps Bryan like as a really good character, is that like when he hits, he really hurts.
So what do you think about like his quarter circle? Does he have a quarter circle back moves, or like, you know, quarter circle back 3, so quarter circle back 4?
So quarter circle back 2 is a good whiff punisher, basically. It's not really hit confirmable, though some people say they can do it, but you can if you see someone missing something, you can hit confirm it. It does, again, tons of damage. You get a free quarter circle back 4 after the second one hits.
Okay.
It's just a good like stake and whiff punisher.
Okay. And then quarter circle back 4. Do you reckon this is used for, like, you know, just flipping people over that are on the floor, or can you use this out in the open as well?
It's mostly used on the ground. It's you can use it like if there's someone who has a lot of evasive stances, or you just want to like clip them with a big launcher for like, because it's got a really big. It's quite hard to move around this move.
Yeah.
It's just got a big hitbox. If you just got a read on someone's timing. Yeah, so basically you want to do both punches down back 2 for that one, and then
okay,
and then just like 4-3-4 or something.
Okay, cool.
So I mean that it's okay. It used to be better, but because now it leaves very close on blocks, so everyone can punish you for it. But it's not bad.
Okay, cool. And then he has certain stuff. He has his quarter circle forward stuff. Quarter circle forward 2-1, is it 2-1? But that's usually used in combos, right? And
yeah, that's the combo. Circle forward 3 is that's very useful because it tracks very strongly to his right.
Okay.
And if you do it fast, it's if you do it at full speed, it's 14 frames, which is very good, especially if like people are. You're playing like a Kazumi or something, someone who's doing like jab, sidestep, you can just quarter circle forward 3 them.
Yeah.
And the other major one from his quarter circle forward is quarter circle forward both punches, which is his wall bounce. Yep.
Is this move safe? I don't even know if it's safe. I don't think it's safe.
It's -12.
Oh, -12.
It's got pushback though, so you can often like someone's far away from the wall, and like. You often get like some weird pushback, and it won't like they won't be able to get like their standard jab or 12 frame punisher.
Okay. So, you know, we've gone over his key moves and, you know, his other stuff, but there's some stuff that he has against the wall. I know people talk about the taunt. I'm not gonna be able to do some of the taunt stuff, so guys, you're gonna have to bear with me. But you know, it's known that Bryan's taunt stuff against the wall is very, very strong. So for someone like, I don't know, myself or anyone else that's trying to learn Bryan, that's trying to do the taunt stuff against the wall, is there any tips on how to get these stuff to hit against the wall?
So basically, the main thing with taunt stuff is you just start easy and then get harder. So yeah, when you start off, you can do a taunt 1-4 or taunt 2-3, and you're basically all you want to do is as you're doing now, you just want to press the button as soon as you see the taunt connect. And yeah, so you're getting it. Like, this is pretty easy. It's got a whatever it is, a 6-frame window to hit the 2-3 in. Once you can hit that, then you can do taunt 4-3, which is 2 frames slower, so it's a bit harder. Still easy. Should be able to do it like pretty much every time once you've got the hang of pressing the buttons at the right time.
Yeah.
Next one is taunt down forward 2-1.
I'm getting all right at this, ain't I? I'm doing all right.
And then I think the next one would be taunt down back both punches. Again, this one isn't. This one is actually a little more useful than we'll give it credit for, because it's relatively easy and you can do it on breakable walls.
Oh, is this combos, yeah?
Yeah. It should be. It's 14 frames, so.
That one's hard. I think I just have to get used to this timing.
Taunt down forward 2-1 is slightly easier than that, but slightly harder than. Yeah, there you go.
That one's hard. Don't know how that. Yeah, that one's hard.
Yeah, so if you can get that one, the next one is Taunt forward 2-1-4, which is a bit harder than that. Basically, everyone they start to get basically twice as hard as each other once you get to this kind of stuff. Yeah, Taunt forward 2-1-4 is the next one. Or if you want, you can do Taunt down forward 1-1-1-1-1, which is yeah. They're both the same difficulty. They're like quite hard, but if you practice, you should be able to get them like pretty much like 80-90% of the time.
So how did you get so good at doing it? Because I know you're really good. Yeah.
Practice. Like there's a lot of people who are better at it than I am. Like I'm like it's one of those things that's actually like when it gets to a certain level, it's just for a lot of people it's just natural talent. Some people are just have very good execution. So I'm not amazing at doing like taunt stuff. There's a guy called Grims in Scotland who's definitely better at it than I am. Mm-hmm. And like people like Naps and so on, like, they're much better at taunt stuff. But yeah, so once you got forward 2-1-4, then you can move on to back 4, which is where you start to get real disgusting damage. Once you can do taunt back 4. This is also when it's starting to get hard. This is because this is a 1-frame link. Yeah. So once you get the back 4, either get a jet upper or a Mac punch. If you're in open space, you can get a Mac punch, and if you're far away from the wall, and if you're right up close, you can do jet upper. So just back 4 jet upper is
back 4 2.
Is like. Yeah, sorry, forward back 2, yeah.
That's what I'm saying, like, Bryan, I feel like Bryan is like, so, I usually have like 3 different tiers for characters, so I have beginner, intermediate, and advanced. I put Bryan in advanced, because this stuff that you have to do is all about execution and timing, and, you know, like we was talking before, like, his counter hit stuff are very later in frames, it's not early in these frames, so...
Yeah, like there's a lot of things that make Bryan and pretty hard to use, but yeah, taunt back 4 into jet upper or taunt back 4 into Mac breaker is also like it's also reasonably hard because the Mac breaker is only a 2-frame link after the you've got 2 frames to hit it after the back 4. So back 4 forward 2 is also quite hard to hit.
So you don't want to get
obviously the last thing you can do is taunt jet upper, and that is very hard.
Yeah, I'm not gonna try that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna try that. I'm good.
Yeah, so that's basically the taunt stuff. But yeah, like you said, yeah, Bryan is very hard. Like he has, it's not even just the taunt stuff. He has a lot. If you want to be like optimal with him, he has a lot of like pretty tricky stuff. His max damage combos are tricky. His or at least his you can do standardized not max damage. His max damage combos are impossible.
You think they're really that hard, yeah?
His proper ones, are like they're tricky. He has some like super hard things, but he also has just lots of tricky things. Is the basic, like his magic 4 combo is hard. Like you gotta be able to confirm down forward 1 and of course like back 2-4. It's you gotta do dash jab after the magic 4.
Gotta do dash jab. Wow.
Yeah. But you can do court circle back 2. Circle back 2-4. They're about as easy as each other, but
that's
neither of them is very easy.
He seems like such a hard. Yeah, he's such a hard character, man. I think he's such a hard character. I feel like.
Yeah. Like so, I do the dash jab.
Mm-hmm.
And like Jimmy will do court circle back 2.
Jeez, nah.
I don't like the court circle back 2 because you die if you miss it.
So the dash jab is the more safer one.
safer, but of course like back 2 does a bit more damage and it's a bit more reliable. It's just one of these choices.
Yeah.
He's just got a lot of tricky, weird stuff. Like a lot of his combos are just get the most out of them. They're quite hard, and yeah, because he has that's it.
Yeah. And that's
the one.
That's just
Nice.
That's just legacy skills that's carrying me over because I've been playing for so many years. But yeah, I can't do the closer back 2 one. That one seems hard. Yeah, that seems hard. So like, all right, so we've gone over, you know, the stuff against the wall. We've gone over the key moves. The next step that I want to get into is his grab. So I know he has two command grabs, right? He has a down forward, a down forward down forward 1+2 1, and then he has the forward 1+2 1. But what I want to know is what type of stuff does he get? Like, what type of situations can you create from his throws? So like, you know, this throw, do you get anything? I don't think you do because it moves them away a bit. But you explain to me.
Yeah,
you let me know.
he used to get more from his throws than he does, basically. I don't think any of his throws really do anything. They don't do anything special, with the exception of his. Well, okay. One thing all his throws do is all of his throws apart from Chains of Misery, I think, break the floor.
Oh.
So if you're on the floor break stage, you can actually you can get combos off all of them.
Okay.
Apparently,
Chains breaks the floor. Someone's saying in the chat.
is it?
So I don't know.
Maybe it does. I honestly don't remember. I thought only his forward. I thought it was only his forward both punches throw that breaks the floor. But anyway.
Yeah.
But anyway, Chains of Misery can do, which is the crouch down forward one. You can.
I was just doing it. There we go.
A minute. I can't see your screen at the moment for some. It says the host is doing something else right now. Ah, there we go.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, so that one.
Yeah.
So you can do that one just by doing down forward down forward. Like if you just do the slide motion quickly, he can do that grab without the full crouch motion coming out. You just go down forward both ones. Yeah, like that. You can do it really fast. Basically, if they try and back roll from that, you can get a Mac breaker in the back of their head.
Ah. Seriously?
Yeah. You can duck it, but it just looks quite hilarious.
So what's Mac breaker? Is it kick?
4-4-2.
Oh, 4-4-2.
Yeah.
Okay, sick. So that's the only thing he gets from his throws. I thought he would have got like maybe something different. So he doesn't get nothing from this either for being close.
Not really. It's just a guess. You know, you just do a like it used to be like because Bryan's lows are really fast and they hit grounded. It used to be that after 4-4 both punches, he just used to get a free down 4. But they've toned down his follow-ups from his grabs quite a lot.
Yeah.
So basically, mostly they're just guesses. I think maybe after his 1 and 3 grab, you can still do you might still be able to do the back throw if they stand up. You just do a long range back grab if they
Let me try.
really after you just do it again.
You know what I think might
far
work?
away.
I think if we're against the wall, hold on. I think if we're against the wall, because it might do this thing where. Hold on. Nah, too far away. Yeah.
That's the thing. He used to have like quite a lot of setups off his grabs. Like you get stuff in their back, but just isn't really much there anymore at the moment. That's
So, okay, cool. So you know we've gone over grabs. I want to talk about his reversal because obviously he has a punch reversal as well. Is there any good ways to set this up? Because I know there's some Bryans do one. They will do 1-2 down 1-2-3 and expect someone to press a button and then do the punch parry.
1-2-3 is generally plus, but yeah, just anything safe. You know, orbital down forward 2-1. 1-2-1 is a classic punch parry bait.
Yeah.
Yeah, like people will, like you will have seen. The one thing you got to remember is if you punch a Wait a minute, which way round is it? If he parries a left punch, he will do Mac Breaker. But if you do that against Steve, Steve can actually sway the Mac Breaker, and you will die. If you're parrying.
Whoa! I just remember something as well. So can Josie do the right arm parry then?
It's just Steve. It's a specific thing. Like if he holds back after the punch parry, he will automatically do his back sway. And yeah, he will launch you for doing the Mac punch, which looks sick, but is a bit depressing to have happen to you.
That is crazy. So all Steve has to do is press back.
Yeah. So, but then you can do stuff like you can just taunt them whilst they're swaying back. But you got to have quite a read on what they're gonna do.
You know what? I've seen it happen in matches before, but I thought they actually had to do that the command like back free or something.
Yeah, I wish they did. No, they don't have to be that on point. They just have to hold back.
That's bad. I feel sorry for you, man. I feel sorry for you. I feel sorry for Bryan. Alright, cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into how to fight against Bryan, because we've gone into the stuff that can help people play the character and stuff like that, and just learn, you know, the key moves, the key aspect of the character. Let's talk about how to fight against Bryan. You know, I know Bryan I remember we played one time when I was playing Gigas, and I felt like it was such a struggle to deal with Bryan, because obviously back one being +4, he's a big character, can't step, stuff like that. It seems like Bryan could kind of like have an edge on bigger characters. Would you say this is a true statement, or would you say it matters?
Yeah, definitely. Like, Bryan's not that good against a lot of the top tiers. Like, I mean, he's a good character. Like, a lot of people downplay Bryan like way too much. He's a really good character. He's like super strong. Not super, like, he's not amazing against a lot of the top tiers, but he's very good against a lot of like other characters. And yeah, big characters, he kind of bangs them up. Like so they changed back one from being +3 to +4, right? This is specifically this specifically made this move like way worse for Jack. That's the main thing it did, because before, if you did like back one into down forward 2-1, Jack could do a forward and 2, and it would trade with a down forward 2-1. Yeah. And then he would get like forward 4, and he would win that trade, right? Now, if you do back one into down forward 2-1, it would just beat Jack every time. So like, yeah, a lot of his moves, they're really powerful, but they're kind of linear or slow, which means that like big characters basically, who can't sidestep, they're just not really, or they often don't have like really good counter hit moves. They're just not really made to deal with them. So he's really good against like big characters.
And would you say, like, for example, like, you know, so like obviously you say that he's not good against top tiers, but just to highlight, back in Versus Fighting 2019, you beat Kokomo, which he picked Kazumi, and Kazumi is considered top tier at the time. So, me trying to understand the character and understand your play, your mindset, how did you win that match with this character? If Bryan doesn't beat top tiers, if that makes sense.
You know, it's not that he doesn't beat top tiers. It's just that he's just a bit harder to play than them. Doesn't have like, there's not many of them that he's like has a distinct advantage over.
Okay, but what was your mindset going into the match though? Because obviously that was a bad matchup. Like, would you say that's one of the worst matchups for Bryan?
For me, yeah, I absolutely hate the Kazumi matchup. It's like, I still really like. I honestly feel like I still don't have a good handle on that matchup.
Yeah.
But like, when I was playing that, the reason why the Kazumi matchup is bad is like there's a few reasons against Bryan. Like, firstly, she just has like a big movement and poking edge. Like, all her stuff is much safer on
whiff
than Bryan's is, and she can move around better than him. She puts her like automatically at sort of a neutral advantage.
Yeah.
Secondly, like a lot of Bryan's get out, sort of out of jail type moves are not very useful against Kazumi. Well, like mainly Mat Kick is not very useful against Kazumi because Kazumi's stuff all tracks against sidestep left. But like if she does 1-1 and then tries to do 1-1 again and then tries to do like Magic 4 and you do Mat Kick, her Magic 4 will beat Mat Kick every time.
Yeah, it's rough.
So it has a neutral advantage, and like she's got just the way that she sidesteps means she has a bit of an advantage on that kind of stuff as well. But like Bryan's advantage is that he's a better mix-up character. If she's blocking, can do more damage. He's scarier than she is. Scarier, and his lows are scarier. His other advantage is that he does way more damage than her in general. Meaning, if he hits her, he can just do more damage, and then he can stay a bit safer because it's hard for her to mix him up. So, against Kokoma, like I just played a lot of Kazumi before that. I played a lot of Kazumi matchups against Yopolix and Bolt actually, and they both banged me up.
Yeah.
And I just played the matchup until I felt like I was getting a hang of it against both of them, and I will always like be indebted to those guys for helping me out. But when I was playing Kokoma, I was just like, okay, the way I'm gonna play, I need to play this guy, is I need to fight him. I can't fight him like character to character. I need to fight him on rhythm.
Yeah.
So I needed to fight him by like setting my timing and like dashing up in his face and doing things that he wouldn't expect. Like some random European player to be able to do, like play with my timing. Don't if we get into a matchup where it's just like about frames and neutral, it's gonna die. I need to like I was just trying to like kind of throw him off with how I could play.
I smile when you say that, when you say you gotta play with a rhythm, because that's basically like how, I wouldn't even say European, I'll say the UK style. The UK style has always been like, if you feel like you've got the advantage, you will start doing things to throw them off and still, you know what I mean? Like what I'm trying to say. Like
yeah.
It's always been that type of style. Like for example, if I played a character and I'm like, oh, I'm coming in with the damage. I'm like, yo, this is my momentum now. But I can't just keep throwing buttons. It has to make sense of what I'm doing. But it shouldn't make sense to him. Like I'll do certain things with like dash in your face, so the person thinks I'm gonna do anything, but I'll make them double guess and then maybe do a move in a different timing than I would usually do to throw them off. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Like, so that was basically the thing. I was like, I gotta play this guy like.
Yeah.
In the timing, not in the like. I can't just like be like your turn, my turn, your turn. I have to
change it
up. I have to get the time, and I have to grab the timing from the beginning.
Yeah, you have that. Still the time, and that's what I like to do. Just still the frame time. That's exactly like that. But again, right, that's a big W there. That one, I'm still happy for you that you had that W. That W is, it's you won the tournament for me. I don't care. You won the tournament. I was like, yo, Kokoma, like Kazumi, Bryan.
I was happy that I could beat like a high level Kazumi, but like the matchup was still a bit sloppy, and I got away with too much. So I'm still like, I want to be better at that match in future. Like,
yeah, for sure. All right, cool. So like, just to wrap this one up, so what would you say are the moves what would you say is the tips on fighting against Bryan? Like for people that are trying to fight against this character.
Okay, like so like I said, there's a few ways to play Bryan, and a lot of the time, if you're starting up and you need tips, you're going to be playing against sort of basic intermediate Bryan, basic to intermediate Bryan, and that's the sort of the one I laid out at the beginning, which is the back one, the quarter circle back 3, the like down forward 2-1, and the main things to like beat that kind of Bryan are lateral movement, like being able to sidestep block so that you don't get you avoid back 1, but you don't get hit by just random forward 4.
Yeah.
Because a lot of Bryans, when they're running this kind of game plan, this kind of
okay.
horrible whiff recovery, sidestep it either, and you can sidestep either direction with almost any character.
That's crazy.
Just launch it. Every time you do that. The thing is, yeah, if you've got a fast rushdown character, just play very compact neutral up close, like down forward ones, jabs, magic fours, Julia elbow, this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because he's, like you said, all his damage is generally like it's at the slower level, and just don't panic at range. Don't panic and press buttons at range, because this is where he does tons of damage. Don't like preemptively feel like you gotta hit him from miles away, because that's when you're gonna be walking into counter hit both kicks, or sidestep one, or orbital, or back one for that matter. So yeah, you want to be able to like have good lateral movement, play compact poking up close. If you can get advantage on Bryan, you can often like keep advantage on Bryan, because he doesn't have, like I said, he doesn't have very good movement of his own, and his panic buttons are not that good. Just like sidestep duck is reasonably useful against like a lot of intermediate Bryans, because they tend to like really overuse quarter circle back 3 when they're trying to like break you down. Yeah. He's a good character for learning whiff punishment against, because his moves have lots of whiff recovery.
Yeah.
You can get like, if you're playing Korang, you can get pretty good at back 3ing them on whiff. If you're playing like Asuka, you can forward 2s. But yeah, you can make him commit to his big stuff from range. You can whiff punish it, and you can pull away at him up close.
Alright, cool, man. Bro, thank you very much, man. Thank you very much for the Teach Me episode. Like I said, I really appreciate you taking your time out. Definitely one of the veterans I've looked up to for time, even all now. You know, done a lot for
It was great to do it. Like, and yeah, this is sick stuff. I'm glad to see like all the other like amazing players who have joined to do this. And yeah, like, I'm just really impressed with like how the channel and everything is going. Like, keep grinding, man. You are getting there.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it, man. Appreciate it a lot, man. For the people that want to know more about what you're doing and stuff like that, or they want to follow you on socials, can you know, hand them out your socials? I know you don't stream, but I know I think you're on Twitter. Or you're on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm on Twitter. So yeah, I'm on Twitter. So basically, my most of my time I just spend like I write about MMA for a site called Bloody Elbow, and I write about I also do a podcast called Heavy Hands.
Okay.
So like that's mostly what I write about on Twitter, but occasionally I'll write something about Tekken, and like I follow a few people on there. So so if anyone wants to hit me up on Twitter, it's at Evil Greg Jackson.
Yeah, he's into MMA, so you lot go check him out. And yeah, thank you very much everyone that's watched this Teach Me episode. Until next time, peace.